Hello everyone! Kamusta kayong lahat? Ilan ay nanonood? 12.5. Grabe, may 0.5, no? Anyway, ang topic natin ngayon very interesting at the same time very controversial. Kaya ako, sa tingin ko after nito, marami nang magagalit sa akin. Because I am going to share something that is very unpopular in connection to mental health. Kasi marami mga tao ngayon, marami silang maling paniniwala about mental health at akala nila tama yung mga maling paniniwala na yon. So I'm gonna expose those 5 misconceptions at isa sa mga natural reaction would be, of course, people would disagree, and I understand kasi nga yun yung nakasanayan nilang mga paniniwala, yung mga mali. Ang tawag sa psychology dyan is dissonance. Everybody say dissonance. Yung naiinis ka sa isang tao na nagsasabi ng isang claim na iba sa pinaniniwalaan mo. So for those of you who will be feeling that in this lecture, okay lang naman, pero this is something to think about. Meron pa namang chance to correct those misconceptions. So I'm going to expose 5 misconceptions of mental health, and it's very important na ma-address natin yung mga misconception. Anong ibig sabihin ng misconception? Asawa ni Mr. Conception. Siyempre, joke lang yon, na corny, no? It's very important to address misconceptions because this lead to wrong applications. Tama ba? Kapag mayroon kang maling paniniwala, nagkakaroon yan ng maling application. At yung maling application na yan, yan yung nagbubunga sa poor mental health. I really believe that. So marami mga tao ngayon, poor ang mental health, baka isa ka doon, most likely kaya ka ganyan, meron kang misconception about mental health, at dahil doon, ina-apply mo sa buhay mo. Got it? So, it's very important to fix these misconceptions para mababago mo yung wrong applications. From wrong, magiging correct. And then from correct applications, mag-i-improve ang mental health. Baka yan yung reason kung bakit kahit anong gawin mong paulit-ulit na therapy, kahit anong gawin mong paulit-ulit na technique, hindi nag-i-improve yung mental health mo kasi yung source ng information mo about mental health in the first place, mali. Misconception pala yung ina-apply mo. So I really hope this lecture can help correct these misconceptions. Number 1, ang unang misconception about mental health is it is categorical. Everybody say categorical. Marami mga tao gumagamit sila ng either or framework when it comes to mental health. Kinakahon natin kung sino yung mentally healthy versus sino yung mentally ill. Akala natin nakakategorize, nakakahon yung mental health. In fact, umamin kayo, in your minds right now, meron kayong mga naiisip na tao under ng mentally healthy. Kita nyo dito yung imaginary table ko, no? Meron ditong mentally healthy, and then marami kang mga tao naiisip under that category. Most likely, ito yung mga kinakausap mo, yan yung mga kaibigan mo, yan yung mga kabasketball mo, kasi naniniwala ka na mentally healthy sila. At sana naman, ikaw mismo naniniwala ka nandito ka sa mentally healthy. And on the other end, meron tayong mga tao na ilalagay natin under the category of mentally ill. So siguro pangalan yan ng kapitbahay mo, pangalan yan ng seatmate mo nung high school, at sana naman yung pangalan mo hindi under ng mental illness. Am I making sense? So bakit to naging misconception? Bakit mali yung i-categorize mo yung tao whether they are mentally healthy or not? Kasi, especially kapag naglagay ka ng tao sa under ng mentally ill, sabihin na natin kasama ka dyan, naniniwala ka na mentally ill ka, 2 things happen na hindi maganda. If you consider mental health as a category, specifically being mentally ill, una, nagkakaroon ka ng self-fulfilling prophecy, pinaninindigan mo yung label na binigay mo sa sarili mo. Or vice versa, paninindigan ng ibang tao yung mga labels na binibigay natin sa kanila. On the other end, in relation to self-fulfilling prophecy, nagkakaroon din ng fixed mindset. Naniniwala ka na dahil yan yung label mo, wala ka nang magagawa dyan. Paninindigan mo lang na ng paninindigan yung label na binigay sa'yo. Wala ka ng chance na magbago. Wala nang pag-asa. Pinanganak akong ganito, mamamatay akong ganito. Anong tawag doon? Fixed mindset. 'Di ba? In connection to that, ang masama pa dyan, yung poor mental health, meron niyang stigma. At yung stigma, isang kahon yan or isang box yan na kapag yung tao nilagay mo sa kahon ng stigma, ang hirap nang makawala. Because most people who are fit into a certain stigma, yung pinagkasya mo sa kahon ng stigma, ganito ang thinking nila. I am not like them. Ibig sabihin yung mga taong normal. Hindi ako normal. And I will never be because it's just the way I am. Oh my goodness. 'Di ba? Kapag ganyan ang thinking mo, definitely hindi ka magi-improve. Kasi kinahon mo yung sarili mo, kinahon mo yung ibang tao sa pagiging poor ang mental health. A more concrete analogy, halimbawa, yung orange and apple, kapag ini-stigmatize mo yung sarili mo o ini-stigmatize mo yung ibang tao na poor ang mental health nila, ganyan sila mag-isip. Sasabihin ng apple, kahit anong gawin ko, hindi ako pwedeng maging normal na orange. Kasi talagang apple ako, ganito na talaga ako eh. So, wala na akong dapat gawin para mag-improve pa. Hindi na ako magpapaka-orange. Paninindigan ko na lang yung pagiging apple ko. Does that make sense? Ganun yung danger when you consider mental health as a category. So, yun yung mali. Paano natin itatama? Ang mental health kasi, hindi siya categorical. No? Kung titignan mo yung definition ng mental health by the World Health Organization, I want to highlight the word state. Everybody say state. Mental health is a state of well-being, and then ituloy nyo na lang yung basa dito. Pause the video if you need to. I just want to highlight the word state. Mental health is a state according to World Health Organization. Ganyan din yung paniniwala ng APA. Tignan nyo yung online dictionary nila. Type nyo mental health. Ano raw ang mental health? It is a state of mind. Yan yung common word ng World Health Organization at ng APA about mental health. Mental health is a state. Ang kabaliktaran niyan, trait. Trait means categorical. Ano ang label mo? Ano ang kahon mo? Yun yung trait. But it's not. Mental health is a state, meaning you should see mental health as a spectrum. Everybody say spectrum. Yan yung tinatawag nating spectrum model, wherein any human being na merong psyche can move from two extremes of mental wellness. Dito sa extreme left, poor mental health. Extreme right, good mental health. So lahat tayo araw-araw, paggalaw-galaw tayo sa range na yan, sa spectrum na yan. Diba? Some people who are poor in mental health, there are times they move towards good. Some people who are good in mental health, there are times pabalik, papuntang poor. And most of the time, ano yung nagde-determine ng movement natin dyan? Mga life events. Am I right? Pumasa ka sa isang exam na mahirap, medyo gaganda ang mental health mo dyan. Nag-away kayo ng jowa mo, from good, medyo pupunta yan sa papuntang left. Ganun dapat ang tingin natin sa mental health. It's a spectrum. Poor can always become good. Which means, kung poor ang mental health mo, may pag-asa. Everybody say pag-asa. May pag-asa para gumanda-ganda naman yung mental health mo. Hindi yung nakakahon ka at naniniwala ka na hanggang mamatay ka, nandun ka na sa kahon na yon. That's the wrong model. Ito yung tamang model, spectrum model. So kung depressed ka, kung anxious ka, meron kang mga pwedeng gawin para mapunta ka sa good side of mental health, mag-i-improve yung mental health mo. In the same way, dun naman sa mga tao na magaganda ang mental health, given this model, hindi sila pwedeng maging complacent. Hindi sila pwedeng maging relax. Meron sila mga pwedeng gawin to sustain. Everybody say sustain. Sustain their mental health. Para lagi lang sila sa good mental health, hindi sila pupunta papuntang poor. Yan ang tamang view of mental health. Hindi categorical, it must be seen in a spectrum. Kaya nga, given this model, one of the most important question na dapat sinasagot mo araw-araw, what can I do today to improve my mental health? For those of you who are listening na nandito kayo sa medyong kaliwa, hindi ganun kagandang mental health nyo, may pag-asa. May mga pwedeng gawin. May mga tamang approaches para mag-i-improve ka papunta sa good mental health. At sana wag lang puro my mental health. Isa pa yan sa advocacy ko. Ang society kasi natin masyadong selfish in improving our own mental health. Sana magkaroon din tayo ng habit na magpaganda tayo ng mental health ng ibang tao. What can I do today to improve someone else's mental health? Sana maging advocacy nyo yan araw-araw. Na kapag yung mga tao nakakausap ka, nagkakaroon kayo ng interaction, yung mental health ng mga kausap mo umurong papuntang kanan. gumanda kahit papano yung mental health nila after kanilang kinausap. Gawin nating goal yan everyday. Does that make sense? So that's number 1. Punta tayo sa number 2 misconception about mental health, that mental health can be confirmed physically. Marami mga tao, binabase nila yung mental health ng ibang mga tao based on itsura. Tama ba? Uy, ito maayos magbihis, maganda mental health nito. Uy, ito gusgusin, butas yung damit, may mancha yung polo, siguro poor ang mental health nito. O ito maganda yung ayos ng buhok, naka-gel. Yung isa buhaghag yung buhok. Siguro poor ang mental health. Mali yan. You cannot reliably base mental health on a person's physical appearance. Do you agree? May mga tao na mukhang gusgusin, mukhang hindi maayos yung buhok, butas-butas yung damit, pero okay ang mental health nila. Ano lang sila? Economically challenged. Wala lang silang pambili ng bagong damit, wala lang silang pambili ng shampoo. Okay? Kaya ganun yung itsura nila. Pero ang ganda ng mental health nila. Healthy naman. And on the other hand, may mga tao na mukhang okay ang damit. Talagang yung iba naka-necktie pa eh. 'Di ba? Naka-color red pa yung necktie. Tapos yung long sleeve naka-color blue. Nakasalamin ng maayos. Ang hindi alam ng marami, poor pala ang mental health. Maraming ganyan. Does that make sense? Hindi mo pwedeng gawing marker of good mental health yung physical mong nakikita. Ngayon, ang danger kasi niyan, kapag ginagamit mong basis ng mental health ng tao, yung itsura niya, ito yung mga nasasabi mo. Mukha naman siyang okay eh. Masaya nga siya kahapon eh. 'Di ba? Mukha naman siyang walang problema. Have you heard people saying these things? Kapag may naalala kang mga tao na ganyan yung sinabi, judging another person's mental health based on physical appearance, ina-apply na nila yung misconception number 2. At yan, mali. Remember, there is a difference between the inside and the outside. At si Kristo alam yan eh. Kaya ako, tumibay na naman yung duda ko na si Kristo, si Jesus, psych major eh. Patahitahimik lang si Jesus pero alam niya. One of the most basic principles in psychology that what is seen outside may not reflect what's inside. 'Di ba? Pinakita ni Jesus yan when he was talking to the Pharisees. In the same way, on the outside, you appear to be righteous, but on the inside, you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. Anong point ni Kristo? Minsan, iba yung loob, iba yung labas. Such as you can see here in the picture, yung nasa labas, mukha siyang nakatawa, pero yung nasa loob niya, hirap na pala. Ang bigat-bigat na pala ng dinadala, bibigay na. But people wouldn't know. Why? Kasi hindi naman yun yung nakikita nila. Problema yan kapag ikaw, ganyan ang tingin mo sa mental health. Ibase natin sa kung anong nakikita natin. Yun na yun. Kaya mo na nasasabi yung mga words na yan, mukha naman siyang okay eh. Mukha naman siyang walang problema eh. Kaya yung mga tao na ganyan mag-isip, kapag nakarinig sila ng isang kakilala nila who committed suicide, ano ang unang reaction? Gulat na gulat. Hindi makapaniwala. Paano niya magagawa yon? Kahapon lang, patawa-tawa yan. Paano niya nagawa yon? Kahapon lang, nagkakaraoke pa kami. That's what you saw. But deep inside, kung ano talaga siya, yun yung hindi mo nakita. The inside is not equals to outside. Kaya dangerous yung ganyang thinking na yung mental health, binabase mo sa outside, ito yung mga nagiging effects niyan. Una, nagkakaroon ka ng complacency. Hindi mo kinakamusta yung mental health ng mga tao sa paligid mo simply because nakatawa naman eh. Simply because wala namang sinishare na problema eh. Lalo na parents. Shout out to parents. Karamihan ng mga anak, deep inside, hindi na maganda yung mental health. But most of them would think na ayaw na nilang makabigat pa sa burden ng parents, hindi nila ipapakita na may mental health problem sila. Yung mga parents naman, ganito yung assumption. So ang assumption nila, dahil nakatawa naman yung anak ko, joke naman yung anak ko, okay naman yung grades ng anak ko, therefore, okay yung mental health niya. Anong tawag doon? Complacency. Until something happens, nag-self-harm yung bata, or worse, may ginawa, more than that, the parent is now caught off guard. Saan nanggaling yung ganon? Kasi nagkaroon siya ng wrong assumption. Naging complacent siya for the wrong reason. That mental health is reflected physically. Another effect of this is crab mentality, especially sa mga Pilipino. 'Di ba tayo mga Pilipino may ganyan tayong pag-uugali. Ayaw natin yung isang tao masyadong masaya. For some reason, most Filipinos, when they see someone too happy, they want that person to be a little bit sad. Sad, no? Pero ganun talaga yan. Pinag-uusapan niya sa psikolohiyang Pilipino, crab mentality. O ngayon, ang danger dyan, akala nung taong may crab mentality, masaya. Masyado yung kapitbahay niya. So, pinalungkot niya ng konti. Nagpakalat ng chismis na scandalous para naman lumungkot ng konti yan. Puro na lang tama nangyayari sa buhay niya. Ang hindi niya alam, front lang pala ng kapitbahay niya yung lagi siyang masaya. Deep inside, bibigay na. Nag-crab mentality, nagpakalat ng chismis, na scandalous, nakakahiya. Nakakontribute yun doon sa mabigat ng dinadala ng kapitbahay niya. Kaya anong ginawa ng kapitbahay niya? Nag-self-harm. Diba? Akala mo lang masaya siya. But deep inside, hindi pala. Hindi mo na dapat crab mentality yan. Does that make sense? Yan yung danger ng misconception number 2. Kaya ang application dito, dapat gawin nating habit, especially the psych majors here, na kumustahin yung mga tao sa paligid natin kahit nakikita nating nakatawa sila, kahit nakikita nating mukha silang masaya, kahit nakikita natin mukha naman silang walang problema. This is one of the most important questions you can ask to someone. Do you agree? Kumusta ka? Uy, kumusta ka? Kamusta buhay-buhay? Meron ka bang gustong i-share? Ano yung mga nararamdaman mo ngayon? Ano yung mga iniisip mo ngayon? These are very simple questions but can make a world of difference in improving someone's mental health. In the language of Abraham Maslow, kapag tinatanong mo to sa isang tao, binibigyan mo sila ng love and belongingness. They feel that somebody cares enough for them to ask them about what's happening inside them. How are you feeling? How are you today? Di ba? You could be a mental health saver simply by asking that question. Huwag nating i-underestimate to. Kaya ang application dito, sino ang pwede mong kumustahin ngayon? Kunin mo cellphone mo, isa-isahin mo yung entries mo sa phone book mo. Sa tingin mo, sino yung pwede mong kumustahin ngayon? Hindi mo alam, baka yung simpleng pagkamusta mo sa kanya, naging mental health saver ka pa niya. Bibigay na sana siya. Kasi feeling niya, walang nagmamatter, walang nagkikare sa kanya until ginawa mo yung application na to, meron palang nagkikare sa akin. Care enough to listen to what I'm feeling inside. Magandang practice yan in improving someone's mental health. So wag natin i-assume na ang mental health, base lang yan sa itsura or sa nakikita natin from outside. Number 3, another misconception about mental health, ito yung sa tingin ko pinaka malakas na misconception, that negative emotions are always bad. We are living in a society where we are being trained. Our children are being shaped na dapat lagi lang good vibes. Everybody say good vibes. Dapat good vibes is greater than I feel bad. Tinuturuan natin yung mga tao ngayon na dapat ang good life, wala kang negative emotion, puro ka lang positive emotions. I-demonize ng society natin yung mga negative emotions. At all cost, tanggalin lahat ng negative emotions, puro lang tayo good vibes. But let me tell you, and I think dito na maraming magagalit sa akin, no? Did you know that there are certain negative emotions that can be good, that can even further contribute to a good mental health? So maraming nakataas ang kilay. Kahit naka-off cam kayo, nakikita ko yung mga kilay nyo nakataas, and I understand. Diba? Kasi nga, sa society natin, ano ang teaching? Pag negative emotion, laging masama. Yung tinuturo ko ngayon, baliktad. May mga negative emotions, pampaganda pa ng mental health. Let me give you some examples, no, of how negative emotions can lead to something good, even enhancing a person's mental health. Halimbawa, negative emotions can lead to certain adjustments. Everybody say adjustments. Making constructive changes for you to have a better mental health. Halimbawa, yung sadness. Siyempre, negative emotion yan. Diba? Sa society natin, ang training sa atin, when you feel sad, i-counter mo yan. Gawa ka ng isang bagay na masaya. Magkipag-inuman ka, tawagan mo yung best friend mo, magtawanan kayo, no? Maglakwatsa kayo, whatever. Sadness is bad. By all costs, hindi mo dapat nararamdaman yan. Pero think about it. Sadness can be good because it makes you reflect about what are you lacking spiritually. Isa sa mga reasons yan, why would a person feel sad? Because it's a signal na spiritually speaking, meron ka ng kulang. What is spiritually lacking? Meron ka ng kulang. Yung espiritu mo, hinahanap na niya yung isang bagay na kulang sa kanya, kaya mo na-experience yung sadness. So, imbis na takbuhan mo yung sadness, imbis na i-deny mo yung sadness, what do? You reflect. Why am I feeling sad? Ano ang kulang sa spirito ko na kailangan ko nang ibigay sa kanya, kasi yan yung reason why I'm feeling sad. O, di ba? Nakapag-adjust ka. Na-open yung eyes mo na mukhang nalimutan mo na yung spiritual needs mo. So, what do? You drop some things and begin to work on the spiritual needs na kailangan binibigay mo pala sa spirito mo in the first place. Another example is jealousy. Diba? Ang jealousy, yes, it's a negative emotion, but it makes you reflect about, number one, yourself. Bakit ka insecure? Yan ang nature ng jealousy. Kaya ka nagsiselos, insecure ka sa sarili mo. So makakapag-isip ka ngayon ng malalim, bakit ba ako insecure? At ano ang dapat kong gawin para mawala yung insecurity ko? Number two, jealousy is also good because it makes you reflect about your partner. It pushes you, it encourages you to talk with the partner. Are we okay? Oh, yun naman pala, nung nag-usap kayo because of this jealousy, nagkapaliwanagan kayo. Inassure ka nung partner mo na yung jealousy mo walang basis. Hindi mo dapat na-feel yan kasi ganito lang ako, na-busy lang talaga ako. Nakapag-usap kayo ng maayos, boom! Patawaran kayo, you were taking each other for granted, na-adjust nyo yung mga bagay-bagay in your relationships, gumanda, lumakas pa yung relationship nyo. At anong naging daan? Yung negative emotion na jealousy. The third negative emotion under adjustments, ito gigil na gigil ako dito, kaya maayos yung text ko dito, hindi lang handwritten, it's the emotion of guilt. Do you agree? In our society today, isa yan sa mga emotions na laging ika-cancel. Isa yan sa mga emotions na talagang ipupush tayo na burahin natin sa vocabulary natin. Huwag tayong mag-guilty. Pero, yung emotion of guilt, if you think about it, it's a signal that your spirit feels bad because deep inside, your spirit knows you are doing something wrong. After all, we are moral creatures created in the image of God. God has placed in us moral laws, spiritual laws na alam natin deep inside, if we violate it, may mga mararamdaman tayo. So whenever you feel guilty, you feel bad, it's a negative emotion, tanungin mo yung sarili mo. Ano ba kasi yung ginagawa mong mali na sa tingin mo, kailangan mo nang ihinto? In the first place, kaya ka nagigilty because your soul knows you are doing something wrong. But in our society today, as I've mentioned a while ago, isa yan sa mga emotions na hindi mo dapat maramdaman ng guilt. Bakit? Because you deserve everything. Ang tawag ko dyan, the deserve psychology, and it's very toxic. Diba? Yan yung pang-justify mo para hindi mo ma-feel yung guilt. Diba? You feel guilty. Anong gagawin mo? Hindi ako dapat mag-guilty. Kasi, I deserve this. So, mangyayari, hindi mo papalitan kung ano man yung ginagawa mong mali kasi na-justify mo, na panindigan mo yung deserve psychology. Hindi ako dapat mag-guilty kasi deserve ko naman to. Pero sa tingin ko, kung Kaya ka nagigilty kasi yung jowa mo may asawa, dapat ka talagang magilty. Huwag mong panindigan yung relationship mo with someone na may asawa by saying, deserve ko naman to deserve ko naman siya kasi nagmamahalan naman kami we deserve to be happy. Isa pa yan sa mga toxic ideas that destroy a person's mental health. Yung happiness psychology na yan. Gawin mo lahat ng bagay na makapagpapasaya sa'yo. Basta masaya ka, gawin mo. Oh my goodness. Connect na yan. Ang gawin mo, kapag may karelasyon kang may asawa, ikaw yung kabit niya, ikaw yung mistress niya, at nagigilty ka, huwag mong panindigan na deserve mo yan. Ang gawin mo, ihinto mo yung relationship. Pumasok ka sa isang tamang relationship. God-centered, committed-based. Does that make sense? Number 2, or letter B, maganda yung negative emotions kasi other than adjustments that you make in your life, no? Nagkakaroon ka ng resilience. Your ability to recover from different problems in life. Ang tanong, we know that resilience is good. Tama ba? Lahat naman tayo nag-agree na ang resilience, tama. Maganda yan. It's a very good psychological skill. Pero ang tanong, paano ba nade-develop yan? Ang sagot, paulit-ulit na setbacks. Dapat maka-experience ka ng paulit-ulit na setbacks, paulit-ulit na failures, paulit-ulit na problema. And then, every time na nangyayari yon, gumagawa ka ng mga ways on how to bounce back. That's what you mean by resilience. The movement from setbacks to bouncing back. The more na ginagawa mo yan, kaya ako merong replay button dito, the more you move from setback to bounce back, anong nabubuo? Palakas ang palakas yung resilience mo. Ang analogy ko dyan, para kang nag-gym. Sabi mo, gusto mong maging malaki muscles mo. Gusto mong maging mas malakas yung muscles mo. So, anong gagawin mo? Paulit-ulit mong pahihirapan yung muscles mo. Give it pain, destroy muscle fibers, rest, recover, and then tomorrow, repeat again. Paulit-ulit na training, paulit-ulit na setbacks ng mga muscles, paulit-ulit siyang magre-recover until lumakas na ng lumakas yung muscle mo. Ganon din sa resilience. Yan ang problema. I-connect mo yan sa negative emotions are always bad. Dahil ayaw mo ng negative emotions, ayaw mo ng setbacks. Iwas ka ng iwas sa mga bagay na ikaka-setback mo. Kasi gusto mo lagi ka lang feel good Feel good lang, feel good. Ayoko ng bad vibes, ayoko mag-risk, ayoko ng problema, wag mo akong papagalitan, wag mo akong i-correct, wag mo akong ibabagsak sa classroom. Oh my goodness. So ano nangyayari? Hindi nagkakaroon ng movement from setback to bounce back. Bakit? Wala ngang setback. At kung hindi nangyayari yan, walang resilience. Even the Bible promotes this. Di ba? Ang Bible hindi siya anti-setbacks. In fact, ang sabi ng Bible, dapat makaranas tayo ng maraming setbacks at maganda yan. Because when you experience trials, when you experience setbacks, it produces perseverance, sabi ni James. Kaya nga sabi niya, pag may setbacks kayo, kapag may mga trials kayo, matuwa pa kayo. Matuwa pa kayo. Bakit? It's an opportunity to be spiritually stronger. Ganon din yung sinabi ni Peter. Etong mga trials na to, anong gagawin sa inyo yan? Gagawin kang strong, gagawin kang pure, ipipurify ka like gold. Para yung character mo, after undergoing all these trials, will be much, much better. Negative emotions are not always bad. Negative emotions can make you psychologically healthier, mentally healthier, because it produces perseverance, resilience. Diba? Even Jesus, kahit si Kristo, kung titignan mo yung buhay niya in the Gospels, in a way, nagkaroon siya ng negative emotion tutorial Do you agree? Hindi niya kinonsider na masama ang negative emotions. In fact, Old Testament pa lang, when Isaiah was prophesying about Jesus, anong prophecy niya about Jesus? May darating na Messiah na lagi lang good vibes? Hindi Basahin nyo. Napaka-negative ng emotion na lumabas sa prophecy about Jesus. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of altogether with sorrows and acquainted with grief. Oh my goodness. And as one from whom men hide their faces, he was despised. And we esteemed him not. Oh my goodness. punong-puno ng negative emotion si Kristo. Fast forward, nung nasa New Testament na, ano ba yung iba't ibang negative emotions that Jesus experienced? The following. Ang dami niya, no? Sorrow, anguish, anger, frustration, grief, disappointment, sadness, loneliness, indignation, puro negative emotions yan. But notice, when Jesus felt these emotions, He could have, being God Himself, He could have just undid all these negative emotions. Isang pitik lang niya, boom, lahat yan naging positive emotion. Pero hindi niya ginawa. Kung masama ang negative emotions, ako naniniwala, isa yan sa dapat unang inutos ni Jesus. Brethren, at all costs, when you feel bad, forget that, just feel good. Hindi niya ginawang commandment yan. Diba? Demonstrate ni Jesus that whenever you feel negative emotions, you see it in a positive way by putting these negative emotions in God's hands. You pray about it that these negative emotions makakontribute sa spiritual growth mo. I think that's a very important insight. Jesus did not consider negative emotions as bad. Rather, it's opportunities for spiritual growth. Now, psychologically speaking, naisip ko rin to, no? If negative emotions are always bad, talagang walang mabuting idinudulot ang negative emotions, then there should never be any form of growth whenever we feel negative emotions. Makes sense? But that's not what we are seeing in psychological research, that there are certain negative emotions, kahit sobrang tindi pa ng negative emotions, traumatic level that can even lead to psychological growth. Kaya may tinatawag tayong post-traumatic growth. Now we understand bakit si Jesus hindi niya pinagbawal yung negative emotions. Hindi niya pinagbawal yan, na dapat huwag kang ma-feel bad. No, He didn't say that. He even said that in this world, we will have troubles. So what should we do? Expect troubles, expect negative emotions, but change our perspective of those negative emotions. These negative emotions, God can use to make me grow spiritually. Kaya nga, i-connect natin to sa current events. Could it be na yung tumataas na mental health crisis ng mga tao sa Pilipinas, especially the young people, could it be that one of the reasons bakit ganyan? Kasi marami mga tao ngayon, mababa na yung resilience. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not oversimplifying this issue. For sure, marami mga factors that can explain bakit poor ang mental health ng maraming mga Pilipino ngayon. Stress, corruption sa government, siguro may after effects pa yung pandemic. I'm all for that. Hindi ko dinideny yun. Pero please lang, huwag nyo rin i-deny na yung possibility na kaya or na nakaka-contribute sa poor mental health ng mga Pilipino ngayon yung masyado nang mababa ang resilience ng mga tao ngayon, especially the young people, because of this misconception about mental health that you should always feel good. Good vibes lang. Anong word dyan? Maybe ang mga tao ngayon, it's too much pampered. We are too much pampered na hindi tayo nakaka-develop ng resilience kasi masyado tayong takot sa negative emotions. The negative emotions that could have made us stronger. Wala misconception nga. Iwas ng iwas sa negative emotions, good vibes lang. Kaya pagdating ng mga matitinding problema, walang psychological resilience. Hindi nakaka-bounce back. Hindi kaya masyado na kasing too much yung safe space natin in our society today. Don't get me wrong. I have nothing against safe space. Okay yan. Gusto ko yan. But it is coming to a point that the society is teaching younger generation today to have too much safe space. Masyado ng safe. Ako naniniwala, too safe is also not good. At some point, kailangan may konting danger. At yung mga konting danger na yon, yun yung pagpapraktisan natin to develop psychological resilience. Wala Bawal negative emotions. Kahit saan ka pumunta, dapat may safe space. Walang resistance, walang negative emotions. Anong nagiging epekto? Bumababa ang psychological resilience, kaya pumapangit, bumababa ang mental health. Again, ang pinaka-message lang ng point number 3 is, don't run from bad vibes. Don't run from negative emotions. Instead, learn how to correctly handle this. Imbis na takbuhan mo yung mga negative emotions, pag-aralan mo kung paano ang tamang pag-handle niyan. Yan ang tamang way sa pagtingin sa mga negative emotions. Unfortunately, ito pa rin yung pinaniniwalaan ng mga tao, negative emotions are always bad. Kaya dapat nating takbuhan ng takbuhan yan. Dapat nating ipagbawal yan. Magalit tayo sa mga taong pinapa-feel bad tayo. Oh my goodness. Ituloy-tuloy natin yung misconception na yan. Ako, ang hypothesis ko, this news will not change. It will only get worse. Palambutin lang natin ng palambutin ang psychological resilience sa mga tao, tuloy-tuloy ang pagbagsak ng mental health ng society natin. Number 4, mental health problems are fixed by physical solutions. Isa na namang training yan sa society natin na kapag may pinagdaraanan tayo mentally, ang solution dyan is something physical. Matindi problema mo, mataas anxiety mo, mag-inuman na lang tayo. Di ba sabi nga ng isang banda, tama na yan. Ano yung tama na yan? Yung negative emotion mo. Tama na yung anxiety mo, tama na yung kalungkutan mo, tama na yung galit mo, inuman na. Hoy pare ko, tumagay ka, nananabik na lalamunan, naghihintay, nag-aabang. And people believe that. Kaya marami mga tao ngayon, ganyan ang coping mechanism. May psychological problem, inuman ang sagot. Yung iba, shopping. Sinong guilty dyan? You feel bad, ano sasabihin mo sa sarili mo? Oh, I feel bad. I need to feel good. I deserve something for myself. Yon. Also known as retail therapy. Yung iba, matutulog. Yung iba, kakain. Yan yung tinatawag na stress eating. Tuwing may problema, kain. O, kaya maraming kinain. Bakit? Maraming problema. Di ba? Nung araw na yun, 10 problema niya. So, 10 beses din siyang kumain. So, ano nangyari? Nanganak ng bagong problema, yung 10 problema. Dahil sa kakakain mo, tumaas ang sugar mo, tumaas ang cholesterol mo, may bago kang problema, yung health mo. Yung iba, sex. Lahat ng problema, basta nai-stress, makipag-sex tayo, kung sino papayag dyan. Yan, maraming ganyan. Yung iba, drugs. Yung iba, antidepressant. Yan, nako, tatakbo sa psychiatrist, hihingi ng antidepressant na don't get me wrong. I am for antidepressant pero dapat sa tamang use. May tamang use kasi ang antidepressant. Gagawan ko ng ibang lecture yan. But there are people out there, they become too dependent on antidepressants. Na tuwing may problema na lang, tuwing may anxiety na lang, ang sagot nila antidepressant to escape the problem. Remember, kapag isa ka sa mga taong ganyan yung approach sa buhay, yung psychological problems mo, ang solution mo physical, you are just treating the symptoms, not the causes. Gawin mo nang gawin yung mga yan, fine. In a way, bababa negative emotions mo, pero it's just a matter of time until mawala ang mga short-term effects nito, nandyan na naman yung problema mo. Nandyan pa rin yung problema mo. At this time, mas malaki pa. Yan ang nature ng problems eh. The more you run away from it, the more it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So, ang coping mechanism mo, more physical solutions hanggang sa nalulung ka na sa mga physical solutions na yan. Nalulung ka na sa alcohol, nalulung ka na sa shopping, credit card mo ang laki na, hindi mo na mabayaran. O, tulog ka na lang ng tulog, kain ka na lang ng kain, naging obese ka na. Am I making sense? It's a very ineffective way of dealing with psychological problems using physical solutions. Kaya remember, itong napaka-basic na principle lang na to, no? Psychological problems must be solved by psychological solutions. Let me repeat. Psychological problems must be solved by psychological solutions. It makes a lot of sense. It's very easy to understand, but many people forget. Kaya marami mga tao ngayon, poor ang mental health. Mali yung solutions na ginagamit nila given the nature of their problems. Psychological lang yung problema mo eh. Tapos ang solution mo, physical. Dapat tutugma mo. In line. If you have a psychological problem, you search for a psychological solution. Such as what? This is a short list. Hindi kaya yung mga problema mo, Kaya mo problema yan, siguro kasi nagkukulang ka na sa mga spiritual needs mo. Ito yung shortlist ko ng mga psychological/spiritual solutions that will guarantee better mental health. Baka kulang ka na sa worship. Worship of God. Maybe kasi, kaya may mga psychological issues ka, you are worshiping yourself. Isang source ng mental illness yan. When you worship yourself, because as spiritual beings, we are not designed to worship ourselves. We are designed to worship our Creator. Baka kulang ka na sa intimacy with God. Baka kulang ka na sa prayer. Baka kailangan mo na makatanggap ng grace. Maybe what you need is forgiveness. Maybe what you need is fellowship. These are the spiritual solutions that are way, way better in handling, in fixing psychological problems. Try nyo lang this week. Kung ano man yung problema nyo, kung ano man yung mga nararamdaman yung hindi maganda sa mental health nyo, try doing any of this, or better, all of this. Ibigay mo to sa kaluluwa mo, and I guarantee your mental health will be much, much better. I speak from experience. I speak from so many observations that the more spiritual needs, the more spiritual solutions you give your psychological problems, the better you will become. And last one, number 5, the most common common misconception, the 5th one, improving mental health means getting more for myself. Dito ngayon papasok yung tinatawag na self-care movement, self-love movement. Ikaw dapat, mahal na mahal mo dapat sarili mo. Mahalin mo ng mahalin yung sarili mo. Ikaw muna. Oh my goodness, let me tell you, that's one of the most toxic ideas that can impair your mental health. Kaya I'm sure marami na namang galit sa akin when I say this. Self-love, instead of improving your mental health, it impairs it. Kapag ganyan yung paniniwala mo na ang solution mo for poor mental health is, I want to get more for myself, ito nangyayari sa'yo. Ito ngayon yung nagiging stance mo sa buhay. What can I get for myself? What can you give to me? Kaya may mga tao na demanding. May kakilala ba kayong taong demanding? Sa bahay nyo ba may taong demanding? Sa classroom nyo ba may taong demanding? Sa opisina nyo ba may taong demanding? Kung sino man yung demanding na yan, most likely, ganyan yung framework kasi niya. Naniniwala siya na by getting more, by demanding more from others, gaganda mental health niya. Mas magkakaroon siya ng security, mas magkakaroon siya ng peace, mas magkakaroon siya ng contentment by getting something more and more for him or herself. Or baka ikaw mismo ganyan. Kaya ka demanding. Huwag ka na palang tumingin sa opisina mo, no? Huwag ka nang tumingin sa eskwelahan mo, nandamay ka pa, ikaw na pala to. Am I making sense? Now, napansin mo ba? Kahit anong demand mo, kahit anong hingi mo, kahit anong kuha mo for yourself, bakit at the end of the day, ganyan pa rin yung mental health mo, hindi pa rin healthy? Because the principle is wrong. Because our psyche is not designed to be better by getting from others. Our psyche is designed to be better the more we give to others. What did Jesus say? It is more blessed to give than to receive. It's a spiritual law which applies in psychology. Mental health is best enhanced by giving something away. You want to have a better mental health? I-let go mo yung self-love movement na yan. I-let go mo yung self-care movement na yan. Huwag mo munang i-pamper sarili mo. Anong una mong gawin? Maghanap ka ng ibang tao na ipapamper mo. Maghanap ka ng ibang tao na pwede mong bigyan. Maghanap ka ng mga tao na pwede mong pagsilbihan. Giving must be greater than getting. And this idea is very unpopular given our materialistic, individualistic / demonic society. Na ang ituturo is, ikaw muna. Self mo muna. Mahalin mo ng mahalin ang sarili mo. Come to think of it, usong-uso naman yung self-love movement, di ba? Marami namang resources for that. Ang daming libro dyan sa Fully Book. Ang daming libro dyan sa National Bookstore. Nagkalat ang mga vloggers dyan sa YouTube who are preaching self-love movement. And many people believe it. Many people are applying it. Pero kung naisip nyo, bakit kahit sikat na yung self-love movement ngayon at marami nag-a-apply niyan, bakit hanggang ngayon mataas pa rin yung mental health crisis ng mga Pilipino? Could it be that one of the reasons is, baka naman kasi mali yung principle. That's why it's not working. So what we need is to reverse the pattern. From getting for ourselves, we need to be giving more of ourselves to others. Ayan ka na naman, Sir Howard. Yung mga source mo na naman, Bible. Sinabi ni Kristo. May scientific basis ba yan? Meron. Magbasa kayo ng literature on volunteerism. Yan yung nature ng volunteerism eh. When you say you are a volunteer, yung orientation mo is about giving. It's about serving others without getting paid. Purely ginagawa mo yung mga bagay-bagay na magaganda para sa ibang mga tao for the purpose of making a difference, positive difference to someone else's life. And if you study the literature on this, zoom in natin, kayo na lang bahala magbasa over and over again. Yan yung nakikita sa mga studies, pampaganda ng mental health. The more you serve others, the more you give something to others. Hindi mo pwedeng i-deny yan. That what science knows about well-being is in line what Jesus knows about well-being. Kaya tumibay na naman yung suspecha ko na itong si Jesus talagang psychology major. Alam niya kung ano ang makikita ng science, that our spirits becomes enhanced. The more it serves, the more it gives things to other people, the more we are selfless. Wala eh. Yung paniniwalaan, yung uso, yung self-care movement, yung self-love movement. Kaya ang application nito, after you listen to this lecture, important question you ask is, what can I freely give to others today? Ano yung pwede mong ibigay? Baka may hindi ka na ginagamit dyan. May isang tao, kailangan yan, ibigay mo na. Saan ka magaling? Siguro yung service mo, yung talent mo, pwede mong ibigay sa isang church. Mag-volunteer ka to do something. Those things will improve your mental health. In summary, ano yung mga misconceptions natin about mental health? Yan yun. Mental health is categorical. Mali. Mental health is expressed physically. Mali. Negative emotions are always bad. Maling, mali. Mental health problems are fixed by physical solutions. Maling, 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 mali. Mental health means getting more. Super mali. Now, could it be that that's one of the reasons why in our society today, hindi pa rin natin malagpasan yung crisis na to? That more and more people today are having mental health problems. In spite the self-love movement, in spite the self-care movement, could it be na ang reason bakit ganyan ang mga tao ngayon, maling mga ideas about mental health yung ina-apply? Etong diniscuss ko na numbers 1 to 5. Kaya ang personal challenge ko for those of you who are listening right now, try nyo lang. Tapos email nyo ako. Baliktarin mo yung numbers 1 to 5. Try living that way for the next month. Baliktarin mo, numbers 1 to 5. And tell me kung mag-i-improve yung mental health mo. Ako, confident ako na kapag binaliktad mo lahat ng numbers 1 to 5, stop doing this, stop doing this, start doing the reverse of this, gaganda ang mental health. Tell me the good news, email me. Alright? So yan lang yung maikli nating lecture on misconceptions of mental health. I'm sure marami na namang galit sa akin, pero okay lang. Hindi naman ako nandito para matuwa kayo sa akin. Nandito ako to share with you the truth about mental health. Because God is a God of mental health, and nagbigay siya sa atin ng mga tamang principles on how to achieve mental health. And I hope this lecture nakatulong in helping you be aware of those things about mental health. Alright? So kung wala na kayong mga tanong, sana magtanong kayo. No? Ilagay nyo lang dyan sa comment section. Until the next lecture, God bless everyone. Sir Howard here. Bye-bye.